What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'd like to give a shout out to Best Gamer Ali. I will leave a link in the description below to his channel and to this video. In this video, we're going to be covering everything you always wanted from a zombie game. Of course, Dead Island 2. That is the game that I'm going to have a playthrough of as soon as it releases on the 21st of April. And since that's not too far from now, I decided to do a reaction video, covering this game. And honestly, I believe this is one of the most detailed videos out there, so I thought, hey, let's give it a go and let's see what this game has to offer. I've watched, a few videos before about this game. I've watched a playthrough that was like about 30 minutes long. I think it was by IGN. The game seemed like really smooth and had really nice graphics. But I don't remember all the details. That was a while back, so I'm gonna refresh my memory with you guys here, and we're gonna see what this game is all about right now. So without further ado, let's get into it.
21st April 2023. This is the day when Dead Island 2 releases on all platforms. Yes, in 16 days from now, we'll finally be getting our hands on Dead Island 2, and it just feels unreal at this point. But it's happening. Now, before the release, Deep Silver has shared a lot of new info and gameplay for Dead Island 2. In fact, they even recently did a public showcase where they let people try the demo for almost 40 minutes. This is always a good sign from the developers when they're ready to let the public try out the game a month before the release.
I agree with that. And of course, I mean, this game already made Dead Island 1, so it's not new to them, but I am expecting it to be a lot better than Dead Island 1, even though I never played Dead Island 1. I've watched some gameplay footage for that game, but I don't know how this is going to compare to that. I'm guessing we're going to have to wait until it releases to do a proper comparison. But unlike games such as The Day Before, at least, they're letting the players know that, here's a demo, try out the game, even though the game is releasing very soon. That is true. That is probably the reason that they, they've had a demo for people to try. And it's because they're pretty confident, with the game itself. So hopefully The Day Before can do something like that sometime soon.
Now what's crazy is that I've seen 2 hours worth of raw gameplay, and because of that I have learned a lot of things about the game. So I'm gonna share that info with you all, and let's start the video as we have got a lot of new things to talk about. Starting with the most recent news regarding the Day 1 patch for Dead Island 2. The Day 1 patch for Dead Island 2 on PlayStation 4 would be around 18.5 gigabytes in size, which I know is huge because the game itself is 19.9 gigabytes in size on PlayStation 4. Also, the Day 1 patch will only have stability and performance improvements, which is obviously expected from a Day 1 patch. Also, if you're wondering about the game size on PlayStation 5, then let me tell you that it's actually 48.2 gigabytes. The reason for this huge size difference is because of the higher quality textures on PlayStation 5.
That's what I mentioned earlier. The game had really nice graphics, but like 48.2 gig, jeez. Oh man. Like I usually do not keep the games, on the PS5 itself. Like as soon as I finish a game, unless I love it like Elden Ring and Dying Light 2, then I do not keep it. I just delete it. And it's in my library. I can just download it again, and all my saved progress is usually there and all that. So like there's nothing to worry about. Not to me. So it's not really a huge deal that it's a very big game. Unless you play a lot of different games and you play all of them like, consistently, then maybe you care about it. But for a guy like me, it just doesn't matter too much, because I'm probably gonna delete it once I beat it, unless it's so awesome that I just have to keep playing it. And then we'll see on April 21st.
Now the next info we have here is regarding the trophy list. So basically 2 days ago, the achievement list, aka the trophy list of Dead Island 2, was revealed online by trueachievements.com. By the way, just for your information, this is not the whole list of trophies, because some of the trophies are tied to the story progress, and just because of that the developers wanted to keep that a secret until the release of the game. By the way, look at the ones we got, like this Apex Predator trophy that you get by knocking down 10 Apex variants. Then this anger management trophy for slaying 50 zombies with a Fury attack.
I like that anger management one. However, discussing trophies in general, I'm not a huge trophy collector. Um, Throughout my entire life, I've been gaming since Sega came out, guys. Original Nintendo, Game Boy, when it wasn't even in color, Pokemon Red and Blue. Um, since then till now, I've never cared about collecting trophies. I have never ever fully collected trophies in a game until I played Elden Ring. That was the only game, and probably will be the only game, where I go out there and care about collecting trophies. Now, in my opinion, if they want the casual player to care about trophies and collecting all of them, then maybe they should reward us for collecting all of them. How about we get a special skin or something that nobody has, nobody can get unless, could be a skin for the weapons, or could be a skin just, for each character. You get different skins, you know what I mean? Like different outfits for them. And that would make a lot more people care about collecting all the trophies. But if the trophies are just there, so your friends online can see your achievements and be like, oh wow, you collected all of them, then I personally don't care. Unless it's Elden Ring. Or unless it becomes rewarding, which I am sure if the rewards are worthy, everybody's going to go out there and collect all the trophies.
By the way, if you want to read everything, then you can pause the video and go through the whole list of trophies. Now let's talk about what I saw in the demo gameplay. Starting with the in-game main menu. It basically starts off with the map, followed by the inventory, quest, skills, challenges, collectibles, and Slayer. Now what I found interesting was that inside collectibles you got blueprints, journals, and Zombiepedia. So blueprints is fairly easy to understand. Journals and Zombiepedia is basically linked to your progress in the game. So let's say you found a new zombie. Once the encounter happens, the Zombiepedia will write down the name of the zombie in your Zombiepedia. This is specially made for you so you can learn more about them from there. Now moving on to the UI and HUD section.
Alright, before we move on, the Zombiepedia. I remember the first game I played that had kind of like this enemypedia thing where it shows you all the enemy stats, maybe their location, even their loot table, their weaknesses, strengths, everything. It's probably Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And honestly, I think, collecting or completing your Zombiepedia or your Enemypedia, whatever they're called, should reward you with a trophy. And maybe it should reward you with an actual useful item in game. Like it could be tied to a quest, where like you go to this NPC and like he asks you to find out how many different variants of the infections we have, so we can try to find a cure for it or whatever. And once you complete it, he rewards you with something that is like, I don't know, something that is worthwhile. That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm surprised, I have to admit, that a lot of games don't have these PDAs in them, and I don't know why. Like, I expected it, for example, to be in Elden Ring. I don't know, it does exist, I just don't know about it, or it just doesn't exist. Because if it just doesn't exist in a game such as Elden Ring, I think it was a missed opportunity. Because I would have loved completing that. Like, I would love to complete the Zombiepedia a lot more than collect just random trophies. Even though if they both don't reward me with anything. To me, having knowledge about all my enemies is just worth it. Like, you know what I mean? It really is. But having all the trophies, like, I don't know. At least the Zombiepedia grants me knowledge that is useful, on the battlefield. But the trophies, they're just there for show.
A lot of the HUD you see here is similar like the first Dead Island, clean and simple UI. In fact, the weapon wheel is also similar in the looks, and I'm gonna be honest, I love that the developers here have not gone crazy with the UI overhaul. I always feel like if something is working fine, just don't mess with it. Oh, and talking about the mess, let's talk.
Before we talk about messes, I actually like a clean screen. I don't like a lot of clutter and a mess on my screen and just like, so many indicators trying to tell me what's going on, like I'm some kind of idiot who can't figure shit out on his own. Like, let me figure it out, all by myself. For example, in The Last of Us, I played on Grounded, and like it warns you before you play on that, setting that all HUD elements will be gone. I couldn't see my health bar. I couldn't see a lot of things. I had no idea where the enemies were. I was lost. And guess what? I figured it out. I got used to it. I died a lot, sure. But that is to be expected. It was my first playthrough of that game ever. And you know what? It made it a lot more immersive. And I enjoyed it that much more. I really didn't care that I couldn't see how much health I had. I was trying to avoid damage regardless, whether I had a lot of health or not. I didn't want to take damage. Simple as that. So, like, why did it matter if I can see how much damage I took or not? And I beat the whole game without any of those elements. And it was, to me, I think it made it a lot funner, a lot more challenging, therefore, to me, a lot funner.
About the playable characters. Now from what I've seen, the demo only included one playable character, Amy, and oh boy, she's kind of annoying. See, I've played a lot of zombie games over the years: Dead Island 1, Dying Light, Days Gone, Back 4 Blood, Left 4 Dead, Resident Evil, you name it. Never have I ever been this annoyed by any character speaking in game. The problem is she talks a lot. For every single thing you do, she got lines. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are people that might enjoy that, but my personal preference is to simply have a protagonist that speaks very less when I'm fighting and talk as much as you want during the cutscene.
Just to quickly comment on that, I really do not know how it's gonna make me feel. Like I'm gonna have to wait until the game releases for me to understand, if it makes me, if it annoys me or not. But I think it is more annoying than useful, like especially if she's just like trash talking and she's not saying anything useful, like, oh, check out that, chest in the corner. Maybe we should loot it. Oh, maybe we should get into this house here and go upstairs and see if we can find anything useful. Or, telling you, oh, the quest that we're on, has something to do with this house here. And she's telling you useful information. I do not mind that. But she's just sitting there telling the zombie, take it, die, you dumb, you dumb zombie or whatever it is, then like, there's no need for that. I'd rather focus on the fight than focus on dumb trash talk. You know what I mean? So to me, it depends on what she's saying more than the amount of, things she says. If they're all useless stuff, then there's no need for it. But maybe they're trying to make her seem, funny and interesting and cool. And if she says funny things, then I probably wouldn't mind it. But if it's just annoying things and it's getting repetitive and she's repeating the same exact lines over and over and over again throughout the whole game, then yeah, I can understand how that can get really annoying really fast.
Seriously, I hope
It's not all the characters that are like this. I seriously hope that it's only Amy that's like that, not all 6 characters. I believe there are like 6 playable characters, wasn't it? I think so, guys.
the developers take a note of this and have an in-game option to disable the dialogues during combat.
Or
This
that.
was honestly the only complaint people had from the game, and that's actually good for the game because it's not a big deal. Now before I tell you some secret stuff related to gameplay, gore, new features, and the overall optimization, let's talk about today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN. Surfshark VPN helps you keep your online identity safe by encrypting all of the information sent between your device and the internet. This makes sure that your personal data like password, messages, and location is always protected from big companies and cyber criminals. In fact, Surfshark VPN can also keep you safe on a public Wi-Fi, and it also comes with a clean web feature that blocks ads, trackers, malware, and phishing attempts, allowing you to surf the web safely. But on the other hand, Surfshark VPN also lets you change your virtual location. I mostly use this to watch my favorite shows that are not available in my country. So basically, I love this series called Supernatural, but it's not available in Netflix India. So with the help of Surfshark VPN, I can change my location to United States and watch all 15 seasons of my favorite series Supernatural with ease. It really works great for all the streaming platforms. In fact, it also works on YouTube. You can now watch videos that are not available in your country. I know it all sounds amazing. That's why for you guys, I have a special offer. You can now get Surfshark VPN for 83% off plus 3 extra months for free using my special code GamerAli. Remember, Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there is no risk giving this a try.
I use a VPN, honestly. Like, I understand that how Netflix, has like different movies in different countries and different shows and all that. Because, like, in Arabic countries, they're going to have, Arabic shows, and, Hispanic countries, they're going to have Hispanic stuff. And they're not going to have, for example, Japanese shows in the States, for example, just because, nobody's watching it down there. Um, or like barely anyone in comparison to in Japan, for example, where like everybody, most probably the majority of the population is. So I do not. There's something else I wanted to know about VPNs. Are they all the same? Does Surfshark have advantages over other VPNs? I am curious about that, like seriously, because as soon as my VPN expires, I'm probably gonna try Surfshark. Because I want to watch my favorite movie, which used to be available in my country, I believe, but I can't find it anymore for some reason. And the movie is V for Vendetta.
So click on the link in the description or from the pinned comment and try Surfshark today and browse securely. Now coming back to Dead Island 2, let's talk about something that I'm pretty sure everyone wanna hear about, the optimization. How does the game run on the system? Well, every single footage I saw in the past few days, including the one provided by my friend Oni Zombies, shout out to him, the gameplay had zero problems when it comes to the performance or the optimization. The game was literally running smoothly with no lags, no stuttering, just clean gameplay. Even during the most intense moment, it ran beautifully, which honestly is a big deal nowadays, and a huge shout out to Dambuster Studios and Deep Silver because these guys did a fantastic job with the optimization of this game. Also guys, one thing to keep in mind is that I'm talking about the PC version of the game, and I just hope the console version performed just like this.
It's great to see amazing performance like that, to be honest, and from the gameplay footage that I've seen for IGN and all that, the gameplay seems really smooth. The graphics are really nice, and as he said, that's like, most games right now, they're released with a whole bunch of like bugs and glitches and like the frame rates drop here and there, and all those like little issues that can get really annoying. However, I do believe that on the PS5 is going to run really smoothly as well. So far, like every game I've played on the PS5 has been running pretty smooth, to be honest. Resident Evil 4 remake, Elden Ring, people were complaining actually when the game released, and the people who were complaining were mainly on PC, so the console players were actually pretty satisfied with Elden Ring. I'm not going to say it was perfect, but it was pretty darn good in comparison to what's out there. Like Dying Light 2, a year later, still has way more issues than Elden Ring on release. Anyways, I have hope that console users are not going to face, especially like PS5. I don't know about PS4 now. The new gen, I'm pretty sure it's going to run really smooth down there, but the older gen, I'm not sure. I cannot, I can't speak on their behalf.
And remember, if they perform just like that, well, hats off to the team. Also, did you guys know that we actually got emotes in Dead Island 2? Yep, we got a bunch of emotes that act like a mode of conversation during co-op gameplay. You got emotes asking for supplies, greeting somebody, or even asking for a revive. Pretty cool stuff that I love in a multiplayer or a co-op game. Now let's talk about the world design.
Alright, the emotes. Are we gonna get any other funny emotes? Like, maybe we dance, we say some funny stuff, we flick someone off. I don't know. I mean, this game, like, it has everything else, so you might as well introduce, the middle finger in there, or some curse words or something. Or is it just useful emotes, just like he said, like, hey, I need bullets, or I need a med kit, or I need help, just generally speaking, or let's go this way, follow me, things like that, where they're not, they're more useful than entertaining.
Dead Island 2 is not an open world game. Instead, the story moves between 10 districts, which are actually large districts. I honestly respect this decision because, again, I hate huge maps in open world games because the maps are huge but it has very less stuff to offer. Shrinking the size of the map means you can have more activities and there would be less empty places. Plus, this allows the devs to focus on the level of details properly. That's why, in my opinion, the world design of Dead Island 2 just looks beautiful. Even graphically speaking, it's a big step up from the first game. Remember, this is what the first Dead Island looked like. Also, when whenever I talk about a sequel, I always like to see what has been improved or added in the game.
Talking about open worlds, to be honest, it depends on how they implement this open world of theirs, how they allow the players to explore it and all that. Like if they do it like Elden Ring, I love open worlds. Like I play I used to at least play World of Warcraft. Currently been playing a lot of Elden Ring. Well, not right now, as I'm doing some playthroughs, but I'm gonna get back to it. And I just like stopped for like a few weeks, but I will definitely get back to that game when I have the time, and once I'm done with the playthrough of Dead Island 2. So I love open worlds if it's done right. However, I also appreciate like linear games because to me, it just saves time in the sense like, you don't have to get lost and not know what you're doing for so long and like not know if, you should be heading to this area or is it too early to go there, and you have to like find out the hard way that the enemies are too tough for you, and then you have to find out which area has the, enemies around your level and stuff like that. So linear ones, you don't have to worry about that. You just progress through the map naturally, not having to worry about any real exploration. You might just explore a few rooms or something and find like a hidden basement or something with a chest in it with lots of loot. Otherwise, I mean, it depends. But I think for this game, you do not need an open world, in my opinion. However, I've never played like Dead Island 1, so I'm not sure. I'll probably have a different opinion once I play Dead Island 2 and see how the game is. Then I can tell you guys, if an open world would be a good idea for this game or not. But I haven't even touched this game, nothing, just watch some footage here and there.
But unfortunately, I've seen some people comparing the game mechanics of Dead Island 2 with other games. This is something I don't like because I simply don't compare it with a different game, but instead I compare it with the game it's a sequel of. Dead Island 2 is a sequel to Dead Island Riptide, and from what I've seen so far, they have completely nailed it. The world has many things to keep you busy when you're not doing the story mode. In fact, like the developer said, you can use your surroundings to get a creative kill on a zombie, like blowing up a gas canister or pouring the diesel on a zombie, or simply using a gun with electricity mod near a water pool, or simply on a road with spilled water. It all simply acts accordingly and makes up for this awesome opportunity for a creative kill. Remember, you're not being limited by anything. There are a lot of ways to kill a zombie. You got melee weapons, you got guns, you got a drop kick, you got environmental kills, you got fury mode, and if that's not enough for you all, then the game has over 50 blueprints for you to upgrade your weapons.
All right, environmental kills is something I love. Like, it's something that I did in Dying Light 2. Actually, one of my most watched videos was due to the fact that I used my environment. Like, I used the zombies that were just like, mindlessly roaming around, not knowing what the hell's going on. I used them to attack pretty much the renegades that were guarding, the chest with the legendary loot in it. And because I use the environment to take out my enemies, I believe that is the main reason that video got so many views. And I wish that Dying Light 2 would introduce more of these environmental kills. For example, if I'm using, let's say, Spark on my weapon, and it starts raining at night or even during the day, that Spark mod should do, for example, either increase damage or increase the chance of it proccing, or increase, let's say it electrocutes them for 3 seconds, so you want to increase the duration of the electrocute pretty much to like 5 seconds. Let's say they get electrocuted for 5 seconds if it's raining, and let's say if it's a sunny day outside or a really hot day, then your fire one would do more damage, and it would increase in the same manner. And your lightning one would just, have its normal standard default proc chance and all that, damage and all that. So it would make you, let's say, want to have a weapon that has, lightning mod on it or a shock mod on it, and you want to have a weapon that has fire mod on it. And that way, Both mods are good depending on the weather, or if there's, let's say, water around. Even if you're not necessarily, if it's not necessarily raining, if you're just like close to really to water, or the zombies just like standing on a puddle of water, then it should do more damage if you have shock on your weapon. At least more damage, if not, increase the proc chance or the proc rate and all that. However, they don't do that. I don't think they're ever gonna do that. We're gonna have to wait for DLC 2 before we, make a judgment.
Let it be guns or melee weapons, both can be upgraded. Yes, you can add fire or electricity weapon to your gun and zap some zombies with a lethal attack. Or you can upgrade your katana to do the same thing. In Dead Island 2, there's a vast majority of weapons you can choose from, and all of them have different effects on zombies. Let's say during a mission you're struggling to fight a zombie with a melee weapon, you can actually switch to a gun and finish the job faster. In fact, you also have finishers in the game. Usually when the zombies are stunned, you can perform some of the goriest finisher ever. Just like Mortal Kombat, like finish him, and oh god, the moves are just crazy. Another way of killing a zombie. But out of all of that, Fury mode is gotta be my favorite. Last time in Dead Island, when you had a Fury mode, you got guns or melee weapons that did crazy one-hit kill damage, but now in Dead Island 2, you kind of become a zombie and start killing other infected in a zombie way.
Now, I have to admit, isn't this Fury mode kind of taken from Dying Light 2? Like, when you lose control, and you turn into the zombie creature and you can jump really high and pretty much like, one-shot all the enemies, even volatiles. And you pretty much, the only difference is here's an active skill, where down there is like a passive that activates during story quests, pretty much, or campaign, during the campaign mode. Like you do not turn into that zombie whenever you want, or just randomly, even when you're doing side quests. It only happens at specific moments during the storyline, and that's it in Dying Light 2. But here they took that, I feel like, and they turned it into an actual talent skill that, has a cooldown, and you can activate it whenever you want, whenever you're feeling like maybe, you're being overwhelmed by the hordes of zombies, and you're out of bullets or something, and this is like a last resort kind of, let's say. But I don't know. I mean, they only introduced this now, I think, so it feels like it was taken from Dying Light 2 and improved on.
You will simply love this move. It's OP, but it's supposed to be. The reason why I mentioned it is because Dead Island 2 focuses on being fun and goofy. It basically gives you that freedom and says do whatever you gotta do to kill this zombie, and you can clearly see that in the gameplay. Now in the gameplay footage I saw, there was a part where we were facing a Crusher who's actually a bit slow but very strong. He was able to knock us down fairly easy with his moves, so what we did is we instantly swiped one of the skill cards that gave us more resistance to these attacks. And well, as you may have guessed, we were not being knocked down after we did that. In fact, we took less damage and only went back a little bit due to the force. So what I'm saying is that the game gives you the chance to make your own build on the go, whenever and wherever you want.
Now that's very good. Honestly, especially for a game like this. This is not Elden Ring, this is not, Diablo 4, this is not, and those like, RPG, MMO games that have skill trees and, talent points and passive skills, and like it has a lot of depth and can become really complicated, especially if you're new. That would just put off, casual players. So to keep it simple like that, you know, um, your skills are pretty much situational skills. You use them depending on who you're fighting and depending on your environment. Maybe, I don't know, there are some like, talents that uses the environment to kill enemies or anything like that. But I am glad that they did this and they didn't make it some skill tree, because skill trees, I love them, but they're not for every game. And this is what I like about this game. They kind of know which direction they want to go, and like what like they understand what the fans want, you know what I mean? Because they do not want something overcomplicated. This is a game you go in, just bash some zombie brains whenever you're bored and got nothing to do. You don't have to like overthink it. You don't have to go online, do some research, see what are the best builds and stuff. It just allows you to experiment a lot more instead of locking you in to some skill tree, and like the only way you can, respec is by spending a lot of money and resources or time, generally speaking. This is a big plus. It's gonna, for this game, it's exactly what I would expect.
Also, you got over 64 skills to unlock in this game. Now, when it comes to the melee combat, it's probably not the greatest one, but in my honest opinion, it does feel like the first Dead Island. It's clunky, and a lot of times I saw people missing the swings on zombies. Even though it should have been a hit, people miss it somehow. So most likely it has something to do with the hitbox, and it surely needs an improvement. But hey, at least we have got this new flesh system that just works great with the melee combat. Imagine swinging a katana at a zombie. You can literally see his clothes being cut by the blade, followed by the skin, then the muscles, and then the body part you're aiming at separates. It's just amazing to see something like that finally being implemented in a zombie game.
I honestly believe that, the gore and the dismemberment in this game is like probably one of the main reasons people play this game. To the point that I wonder if they remove the gore completely, there's no blood at all, you can't dismember enemies whatsoever, how many of the player base would quit playing this game?
This really makes up for the crazy gore experience. You will simply love it. Now, there are also a lot of guns in this game. I've seen people complaining how the guns feel weird and doesn't have the recoil kick to it. Well, what these people don't know is that it's been just like that since Dead Island. If you're someone who's played Dead Island, then you know how the guns work in the game. It's basically the same here in Dead Island 2. Nothing has changed other than the amount of guns in the game. Also, imagine shooting a zombie in the leg and watching him struggle to walk in a single leg trying to leap towards you, but instead he falls down. The dismemberment, without a doubt, is really satisfying. Now, coming to the last part of this video and probably the most important one, the zombies. What if I told you the game has over 124 different zombie mutations? It sounds...
Wait. Did he say 124? That is a lot of zombie mutations, guys. Why doesn't Dying Light 2 have this? Why do we have like less than 24? When this game has 124. Now I understand why they have a Zombipedia. They have to have a Zombipedia. How are we gonna know your enemies? Like in Dying Light 2, like you can just you can remember all of them. Like yeah, there's the Banshee, the day one and the night one, and like a Volatile, the Tyrant, Virals, normal zombies, some exploding ones, and Spitters and a few. Like we got like around 10. Between 10 and maybe a little bit, maybe like 12, like a dozen different types, max, right? And here we got 124. It's like times 10. They took the 12, the dozen that we had in Dying Light, and they times it by 10. Like, here you go, Dying Light. What do you think of us now? Dying Light wants to release the DLC, sorry, an update on the 20th to compete with these guys? Really? Focus on creating new types of zombies that are really scary and threatening. Dying Light, Techland, please, guys. You can't, oh man, 124 versus 12. Jeez, man.
Sounds crazy, right? Well, it sure is. The game has walkers that walk slowly towards you and grab you. The runners, who are aggressive ones that will simply smack you until you die. Then we got the shambler, who are older zombies, strong but with a weak physical body. Then we got a variant of the runner called the spiky runner with spikes all over the body, so if you hit them with the bare hands or legs, you will bleed. Then we got grenadier walker that has dynamites over their body, and well, they simply blow up. Then we got this inferno crusher, which is a variant of the crusher that is huge, strong, but kind of slow. The Inferno version is just everything I mentioned, but with fire all over his body. Next we got Screamer, which we all know screams on top of their lungs and call other zombies. Next we got Slobber, aka floaters that spit caustic juice on you. It's like a toxic spit in the game. Next we got Bursters that are basically suiciders like the one we had in the first Dead Island. Then we got these new mutators that we know very little about. But out of all the zombies, my favorite zombie is called Bucho the Clown, which is the clown zombie that is like the butcher from the Riptide. He's freaking crazy. You'll actually fight one of them during a story mission. Now during the demo, I saw people fight this clown. He was fast, just like a Volatile from Dying Light. And by the way, it also pounces you, and then you will have to spam the button to push it away. By the way, in the demo...
By the way, that looks scary as fuck, for reals. You see, guys, they're even more creative with their enemies, like an evil clown. You know what I mean? Okay, there are some enemies that are kind of, pretty much the same enemy, like that big guy. He's like a normal big guy, and then like it's the same big guy, but he's on fire. Those kind of variants, like I don't really consider them different variants. It's just the same guy who got caught on fire. I mean, like he just like he set himself ablaze, and now he's a new variant. He's not a new variant, guys. You can't set someone on fire and be like, oh look, it's a new type of human. It's a fire human. What are you guys talking about? So to me, that doesn't count. But still, 124, if you're counting those type of variants, is still very impressive. You know what I mean? And like, look at this one. That looks scarier than a volatile. I'll tell you that much.
I saw that there are actually different types of bounces. It will literally do a normal jump and suddenly you will find yourself struggling to live. And oh god, I'm gonna be honest, I hate clowns. Now we've actually reached the end of this video and I just wanted to mention a few things that felt weird but I had high hopes for. The dropkick in this game is a bit weird and it doesn't feel right when you kick a zombie and you don't see it taking crazy damage or even dying from the dropkicks. Then remember there was a rumor about the parkour in this game. It doesn't have Dying Light kind of parkour, but it surely has some moves only available in certain characters. And just for information, I want to let you guys know that there are 24 story missions in total. For some it might feel less, but it really depends on the length of the missions. By the way, you also have 33 side quests and over 15 other lost and found quests. Honestly, I can't wait to get my hands on this game on April 21st of 2023. This is definitely my type of game. It's fun, it's goofy, and it knows what it is, and the developers sure know what the community wants. Now there is definitely certain things that can be improved, and it mostly has to do with the clunky combat, which is like Dead Island 1, but that's why I said it can be improved. Rest I see myself enjoying this game. For all the Dead Island fans and zombie fans, this is definitely a treat. So guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think about the game, and if you got any questions, leave them below and I'll reply to you. Take care everyone, and I'll see you guys very soon with another Dead Island 2 video.
Alright guys, we reached the end here. So it seems like a good game. Like he said, it's just some clunky combat. I haven't actually played the game myself. Never played the first one either, so I can't really, say much about that. However, I heard people complaining about the combat in Dying Light 2, and I enjoy the combat in Dying Light 2. It's not perfect, I know that much, but to me, it's still satisfying. It's nowhere near as good as other games, but it's not as bad as other games as well. However, I am worried, about Dying Light 2. This game is going to be competing against Dying Light 2. They are going to be competing against each other. Even though, like, we don't like to compare games, different types of games with with each other and all that. I understand that part, but that is the truth. A lot of people are going to be leaving Dying Light 2 and playing Dead Island 2, and releasing some update is not gonna make me wanna, suddenly invest all my time into Dying Light 2. I'm gonna get in there, try it out, see what the updates are about, and then that's it. I'm gonna leave the game again. Like, if it wasn't for creating content for Dying Light 2, I would have moved on. I would have probably been still playing Elden Ring. I don't know what else, but I would have probably been dumping a lot of time into that game. Maybe even like been PvPing and stuff like that. But I do like zombie games, and I've been trying to searching for the perfect zombie game, and I haven't found it yet. A lot of good zombie games, but nothing perfect. And I've been hoping that eventually one day we're gonna have like a big, zombie MMO or something like that. Like some next level thing with like a skill tree and all those things that I was talking about earlier that I do not want to see in this game. But doesn't mean I do never want to see it in any zombie game. Alright? I just don't want to see it in this one, because this one, like he said, this game knows what it is. It knows what the fans want. It knows, that it's just a fun, goofy game. And that's all it wants to be. Kind of like, Fortnite. It's not like the very most serious game. Yeah, some people play competitively, but like that's with any game. But Fortnite's supposed to be like that. It's a battle royale. You get in there, you just have fun, and you have things where you bounce off little, I don't know, little floaty things that they have, and sometimes they have like aliens, and they have I don't know what coming into the game. And it's just like all about having fun. It doesn't set a serious tone. It doesn't. And it does that intentionally because it doesn't want to be an adult game. It wants to be a game for everyone. And that just makes more money. However, this game here, it knows what it wants, it knows what it's going for, and I love that. I think I'm really gonna enjoy this game. It's probably gonna be, when it comes to having fun, this is gonna be one of the best zombie games out there. I think it will. We're gonna have to wait and see, guys. We're gonna have to be patient. We don't have much left now, so I believe we got like around 12 days or so. So I can't wait as well. Hopefully they fix all the issues, like, before the game releases, with the clunky combat and all that, or they do it at least within the first week or two, or as soon as they can at least. I don't know if this game will have any replayability or not, because he didn't discuss that, but I think it's too early to tell. So I don't know what the end game is. Is there any end game content, or you just beat the game and that's it? You're kind of done. We're gonna find out soon enough, guys. Anyways, everyone, as always, thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you'd like to watch more content like this. And I'll catch you all in the next episode. Take care, everyone, and peace.